Virtual summits are the most powerful online marketing tool available to grow your list, launch your platform, make more money, and create an impact in the world, even if you're just getting started. If you are ready to take your summit to the next level, then tune into the Virtual Summit Podcast with Dr. Mark T. Wade.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mark T. Wade, founder of Virtual Summit Software and creator of the One Day Summit Formula. And I'm on a mission to help you, the summit host, get your summit out to the world in a powerful and impactful way. So let's get started. Why is every summit just stuffed full of informational Q&A style interviews? It's so boring. There are 15 different session styles you could be implementing, and it will make your summit stand out above all others. Let's take a look at those right now. Hey there, Dr. Mark T. Wade here, your host on the Virtual Summit Podcast, founder of Virtual Summit Software, and I am super excited for today's episode. We are going to be getting into some tactical aspects of what you should be doing inside of your summit when it comes to the summit sessions. Now, before we jump in that, I want to remind you to head over to the resources area at virtualsummits.com. We have all kinds of amazing free resources for you to have on your summit, like our Interview Like a Pro free training series, which will help you with the interview aspect of your summit interviews. You can actually go directly there at interviewlikeapro.com or check it out in the resources area. Also, for those of you who are looking to have some help on your summit, don't forget to check out our done-for-you Viral Summits concierge service. You can check that at viralsummits.com/concierge. All right, you've heard me talk a lot about the need for virtual summits to evolve. Matter of fact, at Summit Fest Live this year, the entire theme of the conference was evolution of summits. Why? Because there are a lot of summits being run poorly. There are a lot of list grabber style summits being done. And unfortunately, they are taking a toll on the summit industry. Now, summits aren't going anywhere, even with all this list grabbery. Don't get me wrong here. Actually, there are going to be more summits run this year than ever before. With the advancement of technology like the Virtual Summit software and more summit coaches and online programs popping up, summits are going to be happening a lot. And rightfully so. Even when run poorly, they are still the most powerful and effective marketing strategy available to grow a brand or business. However, with poorly run summits comes speakers with distaste for those summits, which creates lower speaker promotions and hence lower performing summits. With that being said, you have to evolve your strategy. You have to think outside the box. You have to run different types of summits. This is exactly what we are doing with our Viral Summits Done For You concierge service. Now, in today's episode, I want to talk about one aspect that we are evolving and improving or changing so that you can model it in your own summits. First, though, I strongly believe a one-day summit series will be the best, most powerful summit strategy from this year and beyond. It's important to stop thinking of summits as a single one-off marketing event like a webinar or a lead magnet and start thinking of it as a business strategy. Those who are implementing summits into their brands and businesses are growing, scaling, and succeeding. Start off with a one-day summit, then do a one-day summit series, and then plan an annual multi-day summit. I know it sounds like a lot, but if you do it in that order, you will master the processes of how to do a summit. It will seem relatively simple and easy as you progress from one-day summit to summit series. And then finally, by the time you decide to do the multi-day summit, you will know exactly what you're doing and be able to knock it out with ease. Plus, the amount of information you'll learn in the process is priceless on how to improve your summits and get better results. Okay, so let's jump into the topic for today. In our Viral Summits Done For You Summit service, we're completely evolving the summit. Our goal is to reinvent how virtual summits are done. Now, this can't happen overnight. We understand that, but it can start happening.
Virtual Summit's software makes hosting a summit easier than ever. The only software in the world designed specifically for hosting a summit lets you set up a summit in a matter of hours with no tech skill or team needed. You can try out the Virtual Summit's software free at virtualsummits.com. But hurry, this is a limited offer.
We are planning on several different key aspects to focus on this year. The first is the theme or type of summit. We want to get away from the traditional information-based Q&A style summits. You might be thinking, well, Mark, if you take away the interviews, what will you have instead? We will have an entertainment style event with information or story woven through it, not the focus of it. I'll talk more about the in-depth on this in a different episode. So the next area we want to evolve is engagement. We have to move away from passive sit back and watch style summits to active engaged events. We are going to do that with specific engagement strategies paired to the style of the summit chosen, with the summit story arc and summit action arc, but also by incorporating a physical component. We want to add physical deliverables that are given to the attendees who purchase the summit offers, creating a more personal and intimate experience. The third, which is the area I'm going to focus on today, is the actual way the information is distributed, or the session styles or types. The most common and honestly most overused style is the traditional interview session. Now that can be broken up into two types of interviews: a traditional Q&A style where the host simply asks the speaker questions and the speaker simply answers them. Boring. There are so many different types of informational interviews available. Why would someone waste 3 or more days listening to them on a summit? Your audience is tired of these. This should be the least amount of sessions you perform, but unfortunately, it's the most common. The second style of traditional Q&A is the hybrid style. This is a hybrid between a Q&A and a presentation, meaning the host intros the speaker presents like a masterclass, and then the host asks some questions at the end. Now, this is definitely better than the first type for sure, but I want to talk about a few other options that are rarely done and can really improve the engagement and viewer satisfaction of your audience. The next type of session is a panel. Now, any of these could be live sessions or pre-recorded, so we won't get caught up in the details of a live streaming panel versus a pre-recorded panel or any of the other types. Just know that you could do these live or pre-recorded. It's the same, doesn't matter. But a panel is just as you would expect. It's 3 or more topic experts that answer questions or give information based on a topic mentioned by the host. The best way to make these pop is to make the questions difficult or even a little taboo. Have the speakers present opposing or different viewpoints from each other. This also keeps it from being repetitive. Now, we've all seen those panels where each speaker wants to talk and they just end up repeating each other in a different set of words. Focus on making it deep information that stimulates thought and makes the panelists think. And it should have them all together when this is happening so that they can comment off of each other. Meaning, don't record this don't pre-record this individually and then try and splice it together. You really should set this up so that they are all on the call when you do this, whether it's live or pre-recorded. Now, if you do this live, taking some questions from the audience is a phenomenal way to get engagement as well. Also, another option with the panel is instead of bringing actual speakers, is to bring students of your programs on to talk. This highlights your expertise, makes you look good, and even gives credibility to your programs and ability to get results. Just be careful not to make it too heavy on singing your praises. There should be some specific purpose or point of having them on there to share other than just to talk about how great you are. Now, the next type of session is probably one of my favorites. It's the debate style session. This is where you have 2 to 3 speakers with completely opposing viewpoints or conflicting opinions debate each other on why one is correct over the other. There is nothing that gets an audience riled up more than seeing a little controversy. Now, the challenge with this is you have to find speakers who are willing to oppose a separate viewpoint and at the same time not be unprofessional or mean. You also have to have a well thought out question or topics for them to debate that will give each speaker an opportunity to have an upper hand or highlight their expertise or knowledge. You shouldn't just stack one side of the argument because you agree with one or the other. During the debate, the host needs to stay neutral and maintain order. Now, I love this type of session and honestly, very rarely ever see them done in a virtual summit. The next type of session is the keynote. This is the main speaker who presents a topic or information for 20 to 60 minutes. This is not a Q&A style interview. This is a straight up presentation or masterclass style session. The main point is to present a topic or information to the audience and teach them something. Pretty straightforward here. You do need to be careful with choosing the right speakers for this. You want to ensure they are engaging and entertaining and not just putting your audience to sleep. The next type of session is a great one. It's the workshop style. These are excellent for creating engagement. This is where the speaker will be doing an interactive or done with you style of session. This does not need to be live streamed, although it is even better when they are. Typically, you'll give your audience an advance notice of this session and anything they need to have ready or prepared in advance to participate in this workshop. A couple easy examples are if it was a cooking or food summit, for example, having a speaker or a chef create a specific dish or food together with the audience. You would give the audience a grocery list, they get the ingredients in advance, and then together they would prepare and cook a dish. Or let's say it was a public speaking summit. You could have a workshop on how to craft your signature talk, where the speaker walks through with them how to come up and create and write out a signature speaker presentation. These sessions are typically a little longer, anywhere from about an hour to maybe even 4 hours, with 2 hours really being the sweet spot. It can't just be a long presentation. It needs to be a workshop style where they're actually creating something.
Be sure to check out the speaker management tool inside your Virtual Summit software, which lets you quickly and easily recruit and manage your speakers on your virtual summit, literally eliminating hundreds of hours of work. Get more information at virtualsummits.com.
Now, I've seen some of these done in the funnel building space and even chatbots topic, where the attendees will have a specific software or program they have created and will walk through with the speaker as they set up their funnel or their chatbot sequence, for example. It's good to have worksheets and downloads that go along with the session so the attendees can follow along. Now, these style sessions have some of the highest attendee satisfaction ratings when done well. These can even be done by the host to highlight their skill set or program or product, as well as giving these to sponsors as part of their package. It's a huge value for the speaker who gets this type of session. But it is very, very important they understand how to do a workshop and don't just do a presentation. At the end, the audience needs to have completed something. Now, the next type of session is a live Q&A session. Again, any of the above styles could also be live streamed. However, this type of session is specifically to answer questions from the audience. Most typically, this is done with just the host and the audience. However, you could bring on a special speaker and let the audience ask them questions as well. You can do this simply by having them type questions in the comments, or depending on what tool you are using, you can even bring the audience member on camera and have them ask and talk live on camera. This creates the most engagement in this type of session, as the audience feels a moment of like prestige or value when they get to actually have their voices heard and seen by the other attendees. Now, you could do this completely at random, or you could have some pre-chosen attendees lined up for this session if you're worried about the types of questions or what they might say. I definitely would be clear with the audience before they hop on with what is acceptable and unacceptable while they're live. You don't want someone hopping on just to use this as an opportunity to quickly pitch their business or their product. It's always good to be clear up front on this if it's live. With that being said, you could do pre-record this with a small group if live streaming is not something you want to do during your summit, which I totally understand. Live streaming is quite difficult. The next type of session is a fun one, but shouldn't be used too much. And that is the fireside chat. This can feel similar to a Q&A style session, interview session, so it's important to make it look and feel different. For example, if you have the opportunity to record this in person with your speaker, it would be the best. Or if you're doing it virtually, add a more laid back component, like having the host and speaker sitting in a lounge chair and have the video showing them completely versus just a bobblehead or a bobbing head, or having a glass of wine or a drink. All of these are typically less teaching and information and more backstory or inspirational in nature. This takes some thought and skill on the host part to craft some great topics and items to talk about with the speaker. It's also usually reserved for important or noteworthy speakers. It's also a great way to get a speaker who speaks regularly to break away from their standard presentation and get some original content and information out of them. Now, the next style and type of session is the meet and greet. This is a live component and can be done in a variety of ways, such as a Zoom meeting or a webinar that allows for breakout rooms. Additionally, Remo is a software that integrates with Virtual Summit software, which specifically allows for breakout sessions with face-to-face interaction. This is a great benefit for your sponsors, as you can give them a specific breakout room, as well as having speakers available for the audience to talk with, and makes a very valuable and engaging environment. It takes a little pre-planning and ensuring your audience knows when these are happening so that you can have a group of people available live to interact. I'll cover 3 other similar types of sessions here as well: roundtables, group share, and mastermind sessions. Roundtables is, again, a breakout session where a couple of speakers are live and they are teaching or answering questions for the audience. Typically teaching. You would typically have 2 to 3 of these going at the same time and allow the audience to choose which breakout room they're going to attend. Now, the group share is similar, where there's going to be a breakout style setting, but you allow for your attendees to interact with each other. You would typically select 1 or 2 attendees to lead each group, and they would simply share their story or their experience. This is really good if you want to highlight some of your students who've had success with your program or product while they answer questions for potential clients, essentially. You can also use the group share style session as a networking aspect to meet the other attendees, which builds rapport and typically leads to the audience staying with you and your community longer. The mastermind session is very similar, but it's more focused on building their business or improving something. You would keep these into smaller groups of 4 to 8 persons. You should still assign 1 table leader who keeps the order, ensures everyone gets a chance to participate. And each person gets the opportunity to ask a question or ask for help. Now, there would be a set amount of time each person gets, with the table leader keeping track, and then the other members would get to provide feedback and suggestions on how to help solve the problem. Another aspect is the pitch your business style. Very similar to the mastermind and group share, but is more focused on letting the attendees talk about themselves and their businesses. All of these are very similar, with slightly different angles being presented. The main purpose is it allows for the audience to engage and participate and meet other attendees. This is more difficult and definitely takes some planning and can become a problem if there's any technical issues. But when executed correctly, it really creates satisfaction and engagement on your summit. Plus, it's very different from your typical information-based summits. The last couple sessions styles are not very common and aren't necessarily needed on every summit, but are good options to throw in if you're trying to make your summit stand out. A storytelling session is the next style, which is just as it sounds. It's based more about telling a story, which is focused on creating emotion and inspiration. Not so much like a presentation or keynote. Think more about reading a kid a bedtime story at night. It should be 100% entertaining and story focused. It should be short, anywhere from 5 to 40 minutes maximum. and should be used primarily to create emotion and entertainment with your audience. This could also, under the storytelling framework, could also be like a poem or a song or even an entertainment, maybe live music or band. Anything could go really there. I guess we could really call this an entertainment session. So it could be a story, a poem, a song, somebody performing. We could change that even to performance. A performance entertaining session. I think I like that better. But as I was saying, it is also more commonly done with a story, although those other ones would be even really outside the box. It's best to use this with only a presenter who knows how to tell stories or someone you're bringing on specifically for their story or their act or their entertainment. Most keynotes or speakers don't know how to do this well. They end up just doing a presentation, which is no different than a keynote.
With the Ever Summit feature inside the Virtual Summit software, you can rerun your summit as if it were live, ongoing forever with one click of a button. This now lets you continue to use your summit forever, bringing in qualified and engaged leads every month into your business. Get more information at virtualsummit.com.
So the power of a story is that it creates emotion and is more memorable than just a normal presentation, which means your audience will remember it longer and think back to it and you when that topic arises in the future. It's great for embedding yourself long-term into your audience's memories and thought processes. The next session's type is the hot seat. This can be done as a singular person with one speaker and can be done live or pre-recorded, or can be done in a similar fashion to roundtables. The main difference is that it's focused not on teaching a specific topic, but instead focused on that one person who is in the hot seat. What is their business, their question, their problem, or item that they want help with? The speaker would then help them work through that problem while the rest of the audience learns from listening. These are great to raffle off or to increase participation in something. For example, letting the audience know you will be doing a hot seat and they can have a chance to be chosen, but you're only going to choose from those who have purchased the All Access Pass, or they have shared the summit on social and tagged your brand to be entered into the mix to be chosen. It definitely helps to get more participation when they know they have a chance to get personal attention from the host or speaker in a hot seat. Now, the last style I'll mention here is not really a typical session, but more an event that you can do with which is outside of the box. And like the last one, is great to increase participation. This session is a picture with the influencer. This takes a little planning, but essentially you would say that on the final day at a specific time, anyone who has purchased the All Access Pass can come on live and get a quick picture with a specific person. For example, it could be like the main keynote influencer. It could be one of the speakers or the host, but it needs to be someone that they want to have a picture with. You would send out a special link to all those who purchased, for example, to a Zoom meeting, and they would one by one be brought into the meeting room from the waiting room with their camera on, have it side-by-side view, and you would take their name and email and a screen capture and then send it to them. Or they could even take the screen capture, actually, now that I'm thinking about that. You need to plan appropriately for the amount of time. I like the easier way, which is I put all the pictures into one Google Drive or Dropbox folder and then send that to the group and let them find their own picture. Saves a lot of time from having to email 100 individuals. I also like the idea of letting them take their screen capture as well. So I also like to put this option on the largest summit offer purchase option. It helps to increase sales from the lower tier to the higher tier. Again, needs to be a person they would want to have a picture with, and you need to be clear up front on how it works. They come in, say hello, get a picture, and then you remove them from the meeting room and bring the next person. You don't want them each talking for 3 to 5 minutes with the speaker, or it will take all night. it is really a cool way to increase engagement and gives them all something special from the summit, those who purchased, as well as increases purchases to the higher tier. Make sure you have your logo in there, so that's on all of the pictures. Okay. Wow. That was a lot of different summit session styles. There are also there's so many possible options, but instead most summits just have the traditional information-focused Q&A style sessions. Why? There's so many other options. Of course, you don't have to use all of these on every summit, but mix it up. Keep it different. Focus on surprise and delight and increase in engagement, and you will have an incredible summit. Even if your summit numbers aren't huge, incorporating session styles like we just talked about will make you stand out, and even your speakers will be impressed with the difference between your summit and all those other list grabber style summits. And remember, when you impress your speaker and they do something different and fun, they are a lot more likely to share that summit and their session with their audience, which ultimately will increase your summit success. Now, when you implement these different sessions in your summit, be sure to reach out and let us know. I love watching and supporting summit hosts who are creating amazing summits and helping the industry evolve to something incredible. Well, that's it for today. Remember, your message matters and you have an impact to make in the world. If I can help you out in any way, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know. And I'll see you on the next session.
Thanks for listening. Now don't forget to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on the Virtual Summit podcast. Head over to the show notes to check out all the links and resources from this episode, and be sure to grab your free trial of the Virtual Summit software.
Now, I want to end this episode by saying to all the summit hosts listening right now, I believe in you, and you can do this. Summits are by far one of the most powerful ways to quickly grow your list, launch your platform, make more money, and most importantly, make an impact in the world, even if you're just getting started. So don't get caught up in analysis paralysis, because the world needs to hear your message, and there are people who are waiting for you to help them. So just get started, because imperfect action is always better than no action. Thank you, and see you on the next episode.